after you finished the MBA and you were back here in Atlanta, what did you do? What then? What was next?
I began teaching at Morris Brown. I came back and really started back in the president's office. At that time, there was not a teaching position open. And so I really worked in the office and then taught in the evening school. There was an evening school program at Morris Brown where in-service teachers would, take some of their courses in the evening there. And so most of my students were, at that time, older than myself because they were all had been employed for some time and were, getting another specialty or finishing some courses that they had not, taken. So that was my first experience. So I taught at Morris Brown for about 8 years. And
accounting, you were teaching accounting?
Yeah, primarily. But I taught across the curriculum, really, in terms of the business subjects. And I also taught across the curriculum when I went to AU for a time because faculty members would go on sabbaticals and, their courses may not be covered for a time. So I taught investments, I taught marketing. I taught across the curriculum during my teaching years because at that time the emphasis was not totally on being in your major area. Subject matter area for teaching purposes. So I learned a lot as a result of that. And really, in terms of the volunteer and board kinds of opportunities that I had later, those courses and experiences were very, very valuable. When I entered the business school as a faculty member, there was not another female in the business school. And, wow. There were no bathrooms in the business school when it was constructed for females, other than I think there was one, maybe one, that could be used by any female coming into business. So
this was the 60s.
Yeah, this was the 60s. Yeah, but then women really became students more and more, and I lived through the change when I saw it flip from the majority men to majority women. Yes. That was an interesting time. So they had to refurbish the business school and put in toilets for females, and it was an interesting time. It was very interesting just to see that shift over time. We are on the quadrangle, the Atlanta University Center quadrangle. Really, it's Clark Atlanta University now, but that's where we are. And we're now about to approach the Du Bois statue that I was just telling you about. This is the old building, so you'll be able to get of Atlanta University, where I spent 25 years. Well, a little less than that because we moved into that building while I was on the faculty. It is now Wright Young Hall.
Wright Young Hall.
Yeah, they added the dean, who was my dean during my work, most of my work year time there.
Just a little bit different, huh?
Very, very different. And we can go up on the second floor if you want to and see the picture. And it was the first female dean. We had a long line of men before. She's much younger then than she is now.
So Clark Atlanta University Business School is one of the oldest continuously accredited HBCU business schools. And we have a very, very distinguished history going all the way back to W.B. Du Bois. You know, W.B. Du Bois in 1899 wrote The Negro in Business on this campus. And here we are in 2014, and CAU Business School is still trying to follow on his legacy and do great work. So Dr. Clark was one of our stewards. She's one of our icons. She carried the ball for this school back when things were a lot tougher than they are now. So we hold her in very, very, very high esteem. Clark created the foundation for what we're doing now, and we always honor her and the other deans for all the work that they've done to make the school a success.
How long did you teach?
In total, I taught 30-some years. 30-some years, yeah.
So
my last three.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I taught 8 years at Morris Brown. I taught 25 years at Atlanta University and 3 years at Kennesaw.
You mentioned that your students is the most important part of your career in teaching.
Yeah, because I spent more time teaching than I did anything else. And it wasn't, I thought, my first love, but it became my first love because each year you get a different group of people to deal with, different personalities, different experiences, different attitudes toward learning. And, some stand out, some of the also-rans. And, you got to try to reach all of them and to inspire them, if possible, to do their best. My view has always been, if you do your best, then nothing else is expected.
You were telling us about the former student that contacted you. Could you finish that story?
Oh, yes, Mr. Fritz. Mr. Fritz is now in Nevada. At the time, I knew him and was active with him, was doing the MBA program at Atlanta University, and he was one of the young people who went on to get the CPA. And I kept in contact with him for some time, and he became employed by LSI, which became a listed company on New York Stock Exchange. He ended up in Silicon Valley, and during his career brought 2 companies to the big board in New York. He called us and he said, I was just wondering, I thought about you often, and invited us to come to Nevada and visit him. So I said, oh my, that is such a wonderful invitation. After all these years, many students you never hear from again. You wish them well and you hope they're doing well, and many do. Many of them I've been in contact with. You think about, I guess, all the students as being in your basket, so to speak. And some just jump out and fly away, really fly to the top.